Okay.
Welcome to Krista's Spiritual Talks. Today I'm very excited to have my dear friend Robbie Stosh. Robbie is an energy healer. Over the years, I've had so many people ask that have not experienced your healing, what do you do? And when I say energy healing, it's so short because you offer so much more than that. So, can you give people an idea that have never met you, kind of an idea of what you do?
I always say when people ask me about what I do, because it's very, very vast, really. And I
Hmm.
call it energy healing because people can relate to that. I've had training with Reiki, training with IET, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, I see energy. So I look at a person's energy body, not physical body, but energy body. What shows up for me is chakras, your seven major chakras and above, and what your connection is. I see your DNA. I see and how that DNA is working with the chakras. Your chakras are everything. They're everything. So you want them to be spiraling, all of them. And many times they're not. So then we just have a discussion about why they're not. And let's turn that around and get them moving. So the healing part or the energy part is me working with the energy, the electromagnetic system of one's being self, and turning those, getting those chakras spiraling.
Hmm.
So, and that's the whole point of the whole thing. And then we usually go through each chakra to discover different parts of self within that chakra. What are your feelings? You know, how comfortable are you with the world? How comfortable are you with relationships in your world?
Hmm.
You know, do you feel like you're in your power or not in your power? You know, is your heart open to receiving? A lot of times we could give out love, but we don't, not very good at receiving.
Hmm.
And then the throat, how are you expressing? What's your creative expression? And also, you know, the third eye is intuition, it's knowing, it's gut feeling. But then what is your landscape like? How are you seeing the world? How is it showing up for you? And then also your crown chakra, which is, I call it the highway to infinite possibilities because you're connected to everything.
Hmm.
And your thoughts and your words and the way you move through life determines that landscape. And what your frequency vibration is holding will be the landscape that is right in front of you. So when you've got chakras that are not rotating and moving and working for you the way they should, with the way you want them to,
Hmm.
what the key is to get those spiraling, open, moving, and expanded. And then that energy moves out into the electromagnetic field completely. And if there's things that are being blocked or things that are corroded or magnetic attachments that you have are experiencing at the time due to your thoughts and due to your energy, due to everything, that gets cleared out. And that opens you up to manifesting and creating your heart's desire.
More in alignment, it sounds like. So most people don't have this gift. Why do you think you have this gift, or have you always had this gift? What's that experience been like for you?
I've always seen energy. I never really thought of it as anything except for energy. I couldn't understand when I was young why I can't just go through a wall. That's ridiculous, right?
Uh-huh.
So I did wake up with a lot of extra sensory. Uh, there's part of me that had this extra sensory. I sensed a lot of different things that people don't normally sense. Um, I had an accident when I was 3 in the hospital for a few months and pretty much not in my body. It was pretty serious. Spent a lot of time. I spent all my time actually during that time, not in non physical, out of my body. And very well connected to the higher realms. I call it the angelic realm, but I can't say that for sure. It is a place that is in complete love and harmony. So that I always wondered later on in life, that's not why I was the way I was. And then I was given the answer that it was through my higher guidance. And I had a whole talking to about it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. All right, cool, whatever. So that's kind of how it didn't come overnight. It came over me moving towards more of a metaphysical approach. Me learning about, oh my gosh, there's all these different dimensions and there's all these different areas that you can explore. You can explore, masters, angels, talk to the trees, talk to the animals. You can do anything because everything's energy. And then also there's that little really big part. You can actually communicate with that higher part of yourself that is community, that has most of your answers, all of your answers, really.
Well, that's another aspect of what you bring in, and I know that because you channel, and there's a lot of people out there that channel, but they channel maybe one energy, right? You have a vast array that will come in at different times, whether it's mediumship for loved ones that have passed over or higher consciousness. So I would say, as a healer, you're one of the most broad healers, for coming in for a healing. So I'm just kind of thinking back, as a childhood, and then that probably, I would imagine, at a young age connected you more to the higher realms. But at what point did you move into more doing energy work? Because you had a professional career at one point, right?
Yeah. I had a job for many years, 15, I don't know, 17 years, working with seniors, housing, placing, things like that, more of a social services sort of position. And kind of got taken out of that because I needed to take care of some business at home, raising a little one. So and it wasn't mine, but I raised her. But during that process, I was introduced to, not by happenstance, I'm sure it was on purpose. I was introduced to this idea of healing, of meditation. Meditation? What's that? Right? So I go and I'm sitting there, and it just happened to be a meditation with healers. And I had my daughter with me. She was, 18, 19 at the time, and didn't know anything about any of it. And after that one time, I was hooked. So I went back, I did more meditation, more experiences, more heightened stuff, experienced healing energy from another person, very aware of it, very aware of it. And it just put me on this path of experiencing a whole different part of me that I didn't even know really existed. I mean, I had senses, of course, when I was young and all growing up. And it didn't really work for me well because it made me afraid because I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But now, of course, that's a whole different story now. So that's kind of how it all happened.
How long ago was that you started the metaphysical?
Oh, I want to say maybe early to mid 40s. It took a while.
Okay. So how has it changed your healing over the years? Like now, how you heal?
Well, when I first started, all I did was channel. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of took myself away and allowed whatever. At the time, I think I called it the masters. And that was a really cool experience. Did that for a long time. But eventually I moved into myself. They took me as far as they could. and I needed to experience energetically higher parts of myself, higher parts, still channeling, but not channeling an outside energy, but channeling internally part of myself. We're all multidimensional, and connecting multidimensionally means you want to get yourself lined up and build your energy body up so strong that it's easy to soar into whatever area that you need or want. Now, somebody has a question, it's easy. I go to where I get my answers. I call it higher guidance. A lot of people hear me, well, my higher guidance is telling me, and I live by it every day. I listen to my higher guidance every day. Now, sometimes that higher guidance is much stronger and more aligned with a part of me that I don't understand. So many times when I'm working, I will experience wisdom beyond my comprehension and will not be able to articulate it later.
Mm-hmm. So this is just from my perspective, but over the years, because I've known you for probably almost 20 years now, I think we live in a society that there's your little puppy.
Yes.
It would be nice if we had more modalities for healing trauma or there's those really deep wounds. And I think that's one of the strengths I see in you. But I could be a little bit, I don't know, how do you perceive that, like, if there's anybody here that's experiencing really deep wounding, I think you're a wonderful healer for that.
Well, the nice part of it is no matter deep healing, everyone has deep healing, everyone. But yeah, people that have gone through trauma, people that are really having a hard time with being balanced, it comes in handy. And when I'm working with an individual on the table or through Zoom, usually, I can see what's going on in the body. And we discuss what's going on in the body, like I said earlier. Whatever comes to me, I share that with them and ask them if this is how they're feeling, or does this resonate to you? And it's quite amazing, but it's really the transference of energy, me getting my little mind out of the way, allowing that beautiful source, power source, creator source to move through me to align them. And it just works really well. I can't even really explain it 100% in an English way, but it works.
So why is energy or consciousness so important that you're carrying?
Well, my higher guidance told me a long time ago, energy equals consciousness. What your energy body is, how your energy body is running, it will determine the landscape in which you see and live. And so it's so important to know that your words, your thoughts, your feelings, all of it. It's very important to understand that. And so keeping your energy aligned is like the most important currency that there is out there. Money, yeah, that's good. We all want more, all the currencies, right? But your energy body is the most important currency. And my goal is to bring people back to understanding how important that is. It's the most important. If you want to live a happy, joyous, balanced life, it's really important to take yourself and allow that energy to move through you and hook up with that beautiful power source that gave us life. And you can say it comes from God, it comes from creator, it comes from whatever words it is that you want to use. It's perfect. Every part of it's perfect. It's whatever lane you're on and you're in. But energy is energy. It goes, it doesn't matter what lane.
Yeah. I think in the future there's it's going to be a lot more available or just more people aware of it. So, what change would you like to see through the work that you do in the world?
What I would like to see, what I would like to really see is
Mhm.
people taking their energy body seriously as you would go out and work at the gym, work out at the gym every day, every week, whatever. Eating healthy. Okay. All right. So those two things, they're physical, they're in the physical body, and you're actively doing something with it. Right. And there are many other ways to do that.
Mhm.
Now, your energy body, people don't even know it exists. They don't even think about it. They don't think about how it's working and what it's doing. If things now aren't working out in your life, then you're going to want to take a look. You're going to want to know what that energy body is doing and how it's operating. Is it weak? Has it not been fed enough? Has it not been hydrated enough? And it's not just that, but you can understand what I'm saying. Bringing your mindset to your energy body being as important of a currency as it is the most important currency. It will determine how you're going to operate in your life.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot more awareness in the future about that. So, is there anybody that it's been what over 20, 30 years you've been doing this, but anybody that sticks out that's the most memorial, I don't know, that the biggest transformation you've ever seen? Kind of a
In all
random
clients
question, but yeah, with a
and the
client.
clients.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anything stick out or
there are a lot of people. A
Mm,
lot of people stick out. You know, they come to me and they're usually in the dumpster.
mm,
They need to be taken out of the dumpster. They're constantly asking about, what about this? What about that? La la la. You know, all the things that they want in their life. Do you see that happening? Blah blah blah. To now they're doing their own work.
right, right,
Now they have aligned themselves up and they are doing their own work with others. And I can't say one person because they're all special.
right, right. Well, and it sounds like what you're saying is self-regulating, learning how to regulate their own energy, getting to
Yeah.
the point. Yeah,
And building their energy body up to a point where, you know, all of those senses that they never knew they had are now just vibrating and ready. You know,
right,
they can tune in to other people too. They can, you know, mediumship, you know, they all of a sudden they can do mediumship with others and help others when someone has lost a loved one. Or
right.
healing, you know, they're running energy really well, and they're able to access their energy bodies the same as I do. So I see that, and it's almost like it's a that's just what happens. That's just what happens.
So it sounds like you're more of a self-empowerment. You're not telling anybody what to do. You're empowering them so that they can tap into their own awareness.
Yes,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
I'm not telling what to do, but I do offer, you know, guided meditations or empowerment sessions to where they are literally we're working with each and every chakra to
Mhm.
emanate and illuminate that out into their world so they can experience that in physical form.
And I truly think that it's something you have to experience. Otherwise, it really is difficult to explain what you do. Is there anything I haven't touched on that you'd like to explain about the work that you do?
Well, to be honest, I'm not, first of all, this is the first time I've ever done this.
Hmm.
And it took um, a little bit of
Funny.
courage on my part to say yes. And so is there anything I can't think of anything. You ask me a question and I will answer it.
That's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to make sure I gave you a chance. So, it sounds like you do work either through Zoom or in person. I know in the past it's been word of mouth referrals, right? And
Yeah.
you've been pretty consistent over the years. I know you've worked with three separate tribes
Yeah.
also doing healing work, and I know you're real reasonable. So if anybody's listening and wondering if they can afford it, I know you have very competitive, reasonable rates. If they wanted to get a hold of you, would it be through your email then?
I would say the email would be the best way, and then we can hook up and plan a time. Yeah.
Right. So I'll go ahead and put that in the description, Robbie Stosh at gmail.com, RobbieStasch at gmail.com. Well, I'm so glad that we became friends years ago because on my personal journey, I know I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do without meeting you. So you've been a huge influence to me. So thank you.
Well, I also have to say to give kudos to you also. First of all, thank you for talking me into this, I guess. But uh, but your passion to help others reach their highest potential has been obvious. And it has allowed me to share with three different tribes
Mhm.
very successfully and and I feel very grateful for that also. And will continue to do that. But I just wanted to impress you on my appreciation for your desire to have this be put out to the world.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, I'm just playing it forward for what really helped me, and a lot of people aren't aware. Um, and I hate to see people suffering. So thank you for the work you do. So,
All righty.
okay, talk to you